Pleased to be joined by University of Kentucky head football coach Mark Stoops. Coach, thanks for joining us.
You got it anytime. Glad to find a few minutes to talk about Jamin Davis.
Absolutely. You guys have had a heck of a run in the draft the past couple of years. Josh Allen, Zadarius Smith, Bud Dupree, a bunch of guys on defense. How does Jamin Davis stack up with those guys?
Jamin's got so much upside, so talented. He got better. It's well documented, but he got better each and every week this year. Sometimes it's a coaching cliche to talk about getting a little bit better every day, but Jamin is truly that guy. Every day he's in there, works so hard on the field, off the field. He spent time studying film. He does everything he needs to be a great player. You all are going to love him. He's good. He's going to be a great player there for a long time.
So we've seen all of the different scouting reports from all the pundits across the league. What kind of player is Washington getting? What does he do well on the field?
Well, the big thing is number one, he's good. He still has so much upside. You see the terrific athlete that he is. He's got great length. Obviously, you see him and you see what kind of athlete he is. He's explosive. He can move. He's got very good length. But he's also very versatile. He can play a lot of positions, and that's the big thing. I think his versatility. And again, outside of the football player, just a great locker room guy. Every organization needs great people, and Jamin is a fantastic person. He's very competitive. He wants to win. He will help that locker room. He'll be great for the community. And also, nothing will change him. Money won't change him. Fame won't change him. He will be the same person for many years to come. And that's always great to have a person like that in your organization.
Yeah, it sounds like Ron Rivera really bonded with Jamin, and he seems like someone who's going to fit in perfectly. Where does that sort of level-headedness come from? Is it Jamin's family? Is it Jamin himself? I mean, where is that? All these good influences made this guy into such a lovable, respectable kid.
Definitely his family. His father, he comes from military background, his father, but his mother is a strong presence as well, younger brother, just great people, very humble, very hardworking. So you have to credit, his family for that. Just a terrific person. My job was just to continue that, to continue to help him grow in all areas of his life. And it's something that soaked that up with a sponge. He was very into the player development movement, everything we were doing here. He did 110%. You have to credit him for the hard work that he's done.
Did you notice, was there something that really clicked for him this past year? I mean, you're talking about the studying and the getting better, and it's just athleticism. But for a guy to go from, out in the periphery a little bit to just play 11 games and shoot up draft boards so quickly, what do you think clicked most for him just on the field specifically?
Well, specifically just the opportunity. Some guys just need reps, game reps. And we were quite confident going into the year that he would have a big year. And I think that's just the biggest difference. It's just him getting that opportunity, getting those snaps, and he made the most of it.
Was there kind of one play or a moment that kind of exemplified who Jamin Davis was as a player that kind of stuck out to you?
Well, I think a lot of people could point to the clip that's played quite a bit. It was shown on draft day, the interception versus Tennessee, just the range that he has, the athleticism. He also made a very big interception later in the bowl game that helped us secure that victory as well. So he made a lot of big plays for us throughout the year.
Kind of flipping it towards you just for a second, I feel like, you came to Kentucky and you turned that program around, and it feels like it's similar to what Ron Rivera is trying to do in Washington. I know it's college versus NFL, et cetera, but what was the hardest thing for you turning Kentucky from, sort of an SEC, afterthought into a team that's going to bowl games 5 straight years, and just how difficult was it to transition the program into one that's really, really vaunted?
It's always different to change culture. That word is thrown around an awful lot by a lot of people, and but there is a lot of things that turn around with the culture. I always talk about climate versus culture. It's easy to change the climate. For us, maybe for y'all changing the name, get a few new uniforms. For us, same thing when I got here, maybe get a little hype, get excited, change the uniforms, talk about recruiting, all that. Well, that's climate. Those are little things that maybe help spark some interest. I mean, culture is deep rooted, for us, it went back a long way. And you got to change the perception, the way people think. And, not only the players on your team, but the people in the community, the coaches, that culture goes back a long way. And that was a real challenge for me, but we're over that hump. And, but we're always constantly trying to get better each and every day. And we're getting there.
You talk about the kind of climate versus culture. How well does Jamin Davis play into that, cultural change, having a guy with that solid of a background and that good of a work ethic?
Home run in that area. Absolutely. I mean, you can't get a better, I mean that, I'm not just saying it, he's one of my players. It's hard to find a better person in that area. He knows the leadership model that we have here. He bought into it. He studied it. We worked extremely hard. And, he's very self-aware, blind spots, and we all have them, but he's willing to embrace them and try to get better. And, any area of weakness, he's going to attack and get better and overcome. And, just again, a great culture guy, great, leader. He'll be a great role model in their community. And that's a home run when it comes to culture.
I think this is our last one here. We want to thank Mark Stoops again for joining us and giving us the time on Jamin Davis. But I want to throw it back to your Miami days. I was looking sort of through the defensive backs you coached. And of course, Sean Taylor's a name that resonates with all Washington fans. And you just had some other studs too. So, I mean, just what was it like coaching such a skilled defensive backfield? And then do you have any, fond memories of Sean personally, just seeing him in the U?
Yeah, I really do. Sean is just an absolutely special person, in so many ways. It's, we're talking about it so many years later because of who he was and how special he was, both on the field and off. And it was my pleasure to coach him. I coached him for all of his years at Miami. Just absolutely amazing, really. I felt blessed to coach a guy like that every day, and I had a lot of good ones during that time. And Sean was just a special guy. So tragic what happened to him that year. I remember talking to him that offseason, seeing him back in Miami, and him being so excited. And I saw the maturity level change in him, and I saw him so excited to take his game to the next level and really, truly so competitive, wanted to be the best. And I believe was on his way to doing that when his life was tragically taken. So, just have super fond memories of my time coaching him and that bright smile that he had. And of course, that athleticism and the way he played, you just kind of marvel at it every day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it takes kind of a special guy to resonate like that in a franchise, 12 years later. It's crazy how much fans still talk about him.
He was special. I can see why. I think it's hard for me to argue this. I mentioned this earlier, but because I had the pleasure of coaching Ed Reed as well. But Sean was on his way, I think, to competing with Ed to be one of the best of all time.
Well, Mark, thank you for the time. Good luck changing the culture. The climate versus culture thing was great. We might have to bring that up to Ron. We hear culture all the time, but we haven't heard the climate versus culture thing. But again, thank you for this. It's been very informative, and we'll talk to you again when Jamin Davis maybe makes a Pro Bowl or two in the future.
Sounds great. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks
so much, Coach.